I've often been told that I shouldn't say there is no God, because nobody can know whether there is a God or not. So I was really surprised to find a story in the Bible about what appears to be a scientific experiment regarding the existence of God. In 1 Kings chapter 18, God's prophet Elijah returns to Israel. Now, the Israelites had taken to worshiping Baal instead of God. Even their king, Ahab, was a fan of Baal. So when Elijah showed up, Ahab was like, "Dude, what are you doing coming back here?" And Elijah was like, excuse me, you guys aren't following God anymore. Now this Baal thing is over, okay? So Elijah tells all the prophets of Baal and the people of Israel to meet him at Mount Carmel. And Elijah says, "Alright, Baal people, you take a bull, slice it up, put it on your altar, don't set it on fire. Then I'll take a bull and put it on my altar, won't set it on fire. Then you call on your God, I'll call on my God, whichever God sets that thing on fire, that's God. Okay?" And everyone was like, okay. So the Baal prophets, all 450 of them, they start yelling and dancing around this altar full of cow parts, and nothing happens. So they start punching themselves in the face and whatnot, and still nothing happens. And this has been going on for hours, so Elijah is like, "Alright, that's enough of that. Your God sucks." And he goes over to his altar and he's like, "Okay, God, show these people what's what." And wouldn't you know, fire comes right out of the sky, like, and just burns up the whole thing. And the people are like, "Jesus Christ, that has to be the real God." And Elijah's like, "I told you." And then he had all the prophets of Baal slaughtered. The end. Now, a key feature of experiments illustrating a certain phenomenon is that they are reproducible. The same experiment can be run again by others, and if the phenomenon in question is genuine, they will obtain the same results. And considering all the people who have told me that the God of the Bible is real, there has to be someone out there who is willing to reenact this experiment and prove it. I know bulls are pretty expensive nowadays, so I suppose we could just use a cut of beef or whatever you find appropriate. It is your religion, after all, and you can pray however you want as long as you're not setting anything on fire. Obviously, atheists don't have anything to pray to, so we can just use mine as a control. And if fire comes out of the sky and incinerates your offering, I will publicly acknowledge that God exists and can set things on fire. Of course, there will be witnesses present to ensure that there's no tomfoolery. Now, if nothing happens, I certainly hope you would acknowledge that God doesn't exist, or at least that he can't set things on fire. Whichever way this goes, hopefully we can skip the part where someone gets slaughtered. And I know some people will say the absence of evidence is not evidence of absence, but the absence of evidence has been a practical standard for determining the absence of genies, elves, and of course, Baal. So if you want to empirically prove the existence of God to an atheist, this is your chance. Any takers?